Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big topics. All right, let's jump right in. This year's tax season, it's different. Seriously, there are some major new tax laws on the books, and because of them, you could be looking at a way bigger refund. We're talking, on average, around $1,000 more for a lot of people. That's a pretty big deal. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Yeah, the refund numbers are looking great, but how you get that money? The rulebook has been totally rewritten. And get this, one tiny mistake, literally a single typo, could put your money on ice for over 2 months. No joke. So let's break it all down. We're going to walk you through everything you need to know for the 2026 tax season. We'll show you how to steer clear of these new traps and get that bigger refund into your bank account fast. All right, first up, let's talk about the good news, right? The money. Why is everyone buzzing about getting a bigger refund this year? Well, it all boils down to a new tax law that was passed. It's retroactive, and it's called the OBBBA. And I mean, the scale of this thing is just massive. We're not talking about a small change here. Analysts are projecting that this law is going to pump an extra $90 to $100 billion back into the economy. And it's all coming from tax refunds this year. So where is all this extra cash coming from? Well, it's all thanks to something called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This law brought in a whole bunch of taxpayer-friendly changes that actually apply to the income you earned back in 2025. You know, we're talking a bigger child tax credit, up to $2,200 per kid. There's a brand new deduction for seniors, a cool $6,000 or $12,000 if you're filing jointly. And for workers, there are new breaks for tip and overtime income. They even threw in a deduction for auto loan interest, and hey, they raised the cap on the state and local tax deduction, the SALT deduction, all the way up to $40,000. The bottom line? All these changes mean you get to keep more of your own money, and that means a bigger refund for millions of us. Okay, so a bigger refund is probably on the table. Awesome. But how do you actually get your hands on it? Because that part has totally, fundamentally changed. The old way of doing things, yeah, that's officially over. And this isn't just, the IRS deciding they prefer digital. Nope, this is a mandate, straight from the top. An executive order, 1424/7 to be specific, is forcing all federal payments to go electronic. The idea is it's faster and more secure, and yes, all federal payments absolutely includes your tax refund. Now, listen up, because this is the part that's really going to trip people up. Think about how it used to work. If your direct deposit failed, maybe you typed in the wrong account number or something, the IRS would just shrug and mail you a paper check. Easy peasy. Well, that safety net, it's gone. Completely. And this all leads us to the single biggest, most important thing you have to avoid this year. Because now, when a direct deposit fails, it doesn't trigger a paper check. Oh no. It triggers something they're calling a refund freeze. Just look at this new refund freeze protocol. It's a whole ordeal. A simple little error in your bank info kicks off this entire chain reaction. First, bam, your refund is frozen. Then you have to wait for the IRS to mail you a physical letter, a CP53E notice. Once you get that, the clock starts ticking. You have only 30 days to log into your IRS account online and fix it. And if you miss that deadline, well, they'll eventually mail you a paper check, but not before tacking on another delay of 6 weeks or even more. So what should be a 3-week wait can blow up into a 2-month nightmare, all from one typo. So what's the takeaway? It's super simple. Accuracy is everything this year. It's more critical than ever. Before you even think about hitting that submit button, you've got to triple check your routing and account numbers. And hey, check them against an actual bank statement, not some old paper check you have lying around. Seriously, it is the #1 thing you can do to avoid this whole freeze mess. Okay, so let's say you did everything right. Your info is perfect, you filed electronically. The big question is, when does the money actually show up in your account? Well, for most folks, the old 21-day rule of thumb still holds. If you e-file and use direct deposit, you can pretty much bank on seeing your refund in about 3 weeks. But, and you knew there was a but coming, there is one giant exception, and it affects millions and millions of families. Right, if you claim either the Earned Income Tax Credit, that's the EITC, or the Additional Child Tax Credit, the ACTC, then listen up. There's a federal law called the PATH Act that legally forces the IRS to hold onto your entire refund until the middle of February. They do this to double-check everything and fight fraud. So what does this mean for you? The bottom line is you should expect your money to land in your account by March 2nd. You can start checking the Where's My Refund tool on the IRS website for a specific deposit date around February 21st. Okay, last big topic. Let's tackle that fear that pops up pretty much every single year. Can all the political drama and talk of a government shutdown actually stop your refund from showing up? Now, it's true, the IRS is working with a much smaller crew this year. I mean, their workforce is down by about 27% from last year. So, what does that mean for you? It means if your return gets flagged for some reason and a human has to look at it, or if you actually need to call them, yeah, things are going to be slow. You should definitely expect longer waits. But, and this is the most important part, the core job of the IRS, processing returns and sending out money, is fully funded. They have the money they need to operate all the way through September 30th. Congress already took care of it, so the lights will stay on for refund processing no matter what. So even if you see headlines about a shutdown, like the one threatening the Department of Homeland Security, you need to know this. That won't stop your refund. Special funding laws have designated the IRS workforce as exempt. That's a fancy way of saying they keep working. The automated systems that handle almost all the e-filed returns and direct deposits, they just keep on chugging along. All right, so let's do a quick recap. The 5 things you absolutely have to remember this tax season. 1, you're probably going to get a bigger refund, so know that. 2, it's digital only now. No more automatic paper checks. 3, triple check your bank account numbers to avoid that nasty refund freeze. 4, if you claim the EITC or ACDC, circle March 2nd on your calendar. And 5, don't sweat the shutdown talk. Your refund processing is safe and funded. And that leaves us with one final thought. For a lot of us, our tax refund is the single biggest chunk of cash we'll see all year. And with even more money potentially on the way this time around, being prepared isn't just about getting it faster. It's about giving yourself the power to really plan for it and make it count.